they follow as a kind of an outline, and normally we write everything into the database. As in 2021, we've officially gone fully digital for our listings, which is new for us. So that's a bunch of systems that are kind of still being developed, and yeah, every day they're kind of changing and we're tweaking them as our team grows and as we discover new stuff. So the form here I'll show you. I'm sure some of you have seen it before. If not, then this is our seller counseling interview form, kind of the basic information of the client that we're talking to on the phone. How did they hear about the Knight Real Estate Advisors, their preferred communication, the type of dwelling, septic, location, kind of the details on the home there, if there's any easements on the property, which is one that we're really focusing on asking moving forward, as we've had a few deals in the past where we weren't aware there was an easement, and it kind of came up in the lawyer phase of a firm deal. Any updates in the property, any potential barriers that they feel on their own property. One of the most important questions we like is, do you have any idea of what you think your home would sell for? To have our agents kind of go into the appointment knowing the realistic kind of price they're thinking of. Of course, sometimes it's way over the top and they just know that that is a conversation going into the appointment. So it's pretty important. Of course, some people don't like to share that. We asked straight up originally. If they aren't willing to share it, we kind of price it around a range. Would you feel 400 to 500, 500 to 600? Of course, if you can't get the question, sometimes people just aren't willing to share, and that's why they want the agent to come in. How did they arrive at the number? Will all the decision makers be at the appointment? And then kind of asking a bold question: if you were able to sell your home in 30 days, would that pose a problem for you at all? That normally weeds out the people who are really interested in selling, and then kind of varying a home evaluation where we might need a little more nurturing and information at the time, and then following up. So it's pretty basic information, but very effective to know everything prior to going on the appointment. Does anyone have any questions about that at all? So then on to appointment preparation. So in the past, we've done, maybe the stuff in the chat that I'm making mistake.
I got the chat for you, Shannon. If there's any questions coming in, I'll let you know. Yeah, her audio is a bit choppy, guys. Just to let you know, this is being recorded. And so if you want to play it back later too, you can, just if you missed anything. But yeah, it is coming across a little bit fuzzy.
Sorry, yeah, my speaker seems to do that often. So for appointment preparation, we've always in the past had paper files where we had all the listing paperwork, any of our CREA forms, the SCI, everything kind of given along with our print marketing that they would go on the appointment with. Moving to 2021, we really wanted to step away from that. I mean, first off, the fact that during 2020, they didn't have an administrator necessarily right beside them all the time to make these files for them. And we wanted to streamline it that, you know, if anything ever happened moving forward, that they're able to just go to an appointment with what they have and make it digital, streamline it, make it kind of a little more technology forward. So we prepare our files now through the template section in DocuSign. So the agent will inform me through our database when they have an appointment, and I will prep the appointment for them through the template. So I'll copy the template, add the address into all the missing spots, and have it ready for them. And the template is fully editable, so they can edit it when they're going through the appointment with the client on their laptop or a Surface or an iPad. So into our DocuSign here. So it's just in the template section. We have 4 templates, one for 1 seller, 2 sellers, 3 sellers, 4 sellers, just debating who's on title. I always check in Geo how many people are on title, and then I'll create the template for them. So just create a copy, which I've done here just for us to go into. And it has all of the listing paperwork uploaded. Again, I selected the one with 2 sellers that will be in it. And all of the paperwork is fully pre-loaded with all of the signatures already. All of the spots that need to be edited, they can type into. Again, I've already gone through and added the address in just because I can copy and paste it quite easy. The agent will just fill it in as if they were going through paper with the client, just on a Surface, laptop, tablet, and fill in everything necessary and go through everything. So it is all kind of customized that way. Again, if you picked the one seller, it would just be one signature everywhere. The three would be three. So they go ahead and fill it out. Same with the data form. Everything is editable, so they can just pull to where the information is, so they can fill it out fully. All filled out. And then when they've made all the edits, they just click next. They save their template, and then they just use it. And that's when they just add themselves in and the clients, and they sign it all during the appointment. So that's how our agents are using it currently. Then on to our digital marketing. So our team works really hard on marketing, and it's a big portion of our listing presentation. So we were concerned to take that away from the presentation and how to keep the wow factor for it. So we actually moved forward with Flipping Book. So I'm going to show you an example of the one that Chris did use. So I'll make it full screen here. So it's a little video intro on Chris, which you guys can watch quickly. It's just 20 seconds. Just a little intro video that the client can watch. And then moving into our listing system here. So it goes into the first few pages, and if you do have a touch screen, it is interactive. You can like flip a page as if you were flipping a page. And it kind of just shows. I have to move this box here. Move back. So just into kind of our team information, our regular marketing, our marketing director was just able to kind of place into here. So it's actually really cool. You also can zoom on certain areas as well. So everything kind of works. That's our COVID protocols for open houses when we were allowed to do in-person ones during COVID. And then the home buying plan as well. So everything's kind of in there. It's actually super easy and really cool. So far, it's been a really big hit with clients so far. So then next is our Google form. So again, this used to be about 5 different pieces of paper. That was our SCI, our pass the baton, our showing information form, just kind of a bunch of different things. Top 10 features about the house that we had paper copies of. So moving forward now, we have placed all of those forms into a Google form that the agent fills out mostly after the appointment. I would say you can fill it out during as well. So the form has 5 sections: listing and seller information, important listing dates, home details, showing instructions, and any notes for the file. So once it's submitted, I'm notified immediately by email. So it comes to me directly, and then it also automatically goes onto an Excel spreadsheet. So I have all the information needed. It's super easy to kind of look at and function. So here's the back end of the form here. So here's kind of all the different sections there that go through. It's just information, which listing agent is submitting the form, the address, price, commission, seller information, reminding them to take a picture of the photo ID, the status, home access, lockbox numbers, where the lockbox is located, important dates, the exclusive date, live date, any details, expiry date if we're getting staging or cleaning, the photo date, what photo package we're going to be proceeding with, for sale sign date, open house dates, of course, when we could have done them, And then going into some of the home details there. Any home features and remarks that they would like for the description. And then into the showing instructions, if there's any minimum notice, how long. So just kind of the regular stuff that we just put into a Google form instead of having them over the paper. And then any notes there. So that's the Google form. See, I can pop up all the responses. If I click there, it will bring me to the Excel sheet, and then I can see all the addresses and who's filled them out, whatnot. So it's actually really simple to use, and yeah, it's been pretty good so far. So actioning the file. So before I touch and move forward on the file, I need all listing paperwork emailed to me with a copy of the client's photo ID, and we create a Google form. I will not start to work on the file. I won't book photos. I won't order a sign until I receive all of this from my agents. Kind of the basic listing timeline, which I'm sure is similar to most. You're signed exclusively. During that period, we advertise the property and start to get a buildup of interest on the home while the seller prepares for photos. Then we get photos done. I prefer to have the lawn sign up after that. Doesn't always happen. Photos, virtual tour are back within 48 hours, and I send the MLS proof to the client 24 hours prior to going live. And then we prefer to go live on Tuesdays or Thursdays, but of course, due to client timelines, we will go live other days as well. And then to our virtual open houses or open houses after that are scheduled. Then moving on to Asana is where I manage all of my listings. So our administrative team uses Asana to keep track of our listings, buy-side deals, property marketing posts, and Blockbox pickups. So I duplicate the original listing checklist in Asana, and I work through the timeline for any new listing. So I use a colorization system for which stage to show which listing I'm working on. So yellow is exclusive, pink is active, dark pink is conditional, and blue is firm. So I'll jump into Asana here just to give you a show. So this is the new listing checklist, which I favorite, and it keeps at my top on the sidebar over here. All of the yellow are exclusives. An MP means missing paperwork. For the exclusives, it's regularly because I just don't have an MLS listing agreement signed because we don't have an active date planned yet. It's also just to help me to not move forward unless I get that submitted to me. Active and pink is all of our active listings. We don't have any conditional ones at the moment. And then the blue are all firm, which is from chronological order of when they close to the farthest of closing. So the notes and the at a glance sections are really quick and easy things to peek at a listing. If Megan or Montana or Val need to look at the status of a listing and I wasn't available, they can pop in here anytime and see what's going on with the file here. So basic stuff, lockbox on a property if we're holding offers, sign on the property, is the Google form filled out, what's the website, have we ordered a status certificate if it's applicable, the reason the client is selling, if it's a happy sell or a sad sell. If we have an exclusive photo, I assign marketing to post an exclusive post. So then at a glance, just the lead source, listing agent, seller, list price, kind of just a quick glance so I remember everything about a file. Exclusive, photo date, live date, expiry, sold firm, and the closing date when that eventually happens. So then it goes into our exclusive category here. We send a welcome email to the client within 24 hours of receiving the paperwork, and making sure with a follow-up call to ensure they received it if I don't get a response, and just to introduce myself over the phone. That would be marketing. I would assign marketing to do an exclusive post when we're ready to go. Then scanning paperwork into the Google Drive and separating the documents for next one. If we have the MLS agreements, working with the realtor, data forms, FinTrack, seller direction form, and if any disclosure forms are needed for the file. I save the Geo Warehouse report into the Google Drive for each property, so it's an easy grab for any agents. If the broker by listing form is filled out, I create a property information sheet for all of our agents, so they can see the details in the home as well, easy from the drive. I enter the exclusive, live, expiry, and 2-week reminders into the listing agent's calendar. Make sure that the lead source is accurately recorded, and I add it into our database and into Asana. I add the client's birthdays into the listing agent's calendars, add them into all of our different listing trackers, track lockboxes, notify the office of an exclusive, and send the broker pay instruction sheet for showing prior in the exclusive period, which isn't always the case. Ordering a for sale sign and make sure that the seller is aware that it is going up. If any staging is needed, and a reminder for staging, booking the photos, confirming the photos with the seller and informing them to remove the cars from the driveway, sending a reminder. Ordering the website on GoDaddy, linking it to the virtual tour, starting to load the listing onto MLS, uploading pictures, the virtual tour, adding a Schedule B and all of the supplements into MLS. Any floor plans, investment sheets, finishing up the description and verify the inclusions and exclusions, and then sending the MLS proof over to the client, giving them at least 24 hours to look over it and edit any changes, and making sure that we're all set to go live on the day that we've selected. So all of that happens in the exclusive period. Those are all clicked off and selected. Then we go live, submitted on Matrix, on RAB and the Toronto board. Enter all the showing instructions, enter all the paperwork into Fall Tour, confirm any open houses with the seller, virtual open houses as well, add them onto the board, send an email on Thursday to let the client know who is hosting the open house and some details about what they're expecting, a weekly update on Fridays, just reminding myself to remove them from exclusive and add them to the active section in our Google Drive. And then marketing, which again, I will assign marketing when these things are ready to happen. So it directly lets Megan know, and she can start actioning anything needed during that time. So once we're conditional, once we have a contract in place, Montana, our transaction manager, kind of steps up on the day-to-day tasks. I'm really kind of exclusive until contract, and Montana is contract to close. So Montana at that point will add this file into her Asana, and she's able to action everything through conditional, which we kind of share it. We both have access. And same goes with firm. Everything here, Montana would go through, which I guess she'll go through with you next time she knows. But then we have a section for closing day, which she does on the closing day. We have a section for if the listing is canceled, what needs to happen during that time frame, and if the deal falls through. All things that are reminders and processes for each listing, so nothing gets missed. So that's the basics of Asana that we use. We don't pay for Asana, so there's other options that you can use in there, which I know some teams have really built up, but we don't feel really the need to kind of use it at this time. I mean, we've kind of loved where we're using it. And we do use another section, I guess, with the progress. You can set which progress your listing is at. So if it's exclusive, we'll mark it as exclusive and what's going on. If we're expired, we'll mark it to expired, just kind of like an updated status on the listing. So you can take a look there what's happening on it. Again, the statuses on the side kind of help that, but you can also check here as well. All right. Perfect. Then the contract to close section. So yeah, once the deal is in place, our transaction manager, Montana, takes over the day-to-day items for all listings. Once the listing is firm, I will still order a sold writer, and I organize the pickup with of the lawn sign with our sign company. And then the admin team organizes lockbox pickups, and I use a lockbox tracker to mark when we pick them up and kind of where they are and what numbers and etc. And then I'll close the file out in Asana when the listing closes. Yes, so then I have some helpful tips. So time blocking your schedule and replacing any tasks if your day goes astray, which is mostly. Having great communication with your agents through a method that works for you. Example, meetings, phone calls, database tags, texting, WhatsApp, and the day emails, kind of whatever you and your agents can work out. Having a yes how mentality instead of having a no why, with realistic timelines. Prioritizing certain tasks. If you receive an ASAP from your agent and you have a fully packed day, ask them what they would prefer that you drop off your list to complete it. They never mean for it to be rude. I think it's just they don't realize actually how much you're doing. I mean, that's normally what I find it is. And then any questions at all?
So, Shan, we do have a couple in there before everyone else jumps in to ask there. So awesome job. This is the first time in like 3 years I got to listen to somebody. It was amazing. Thank you so much, Shan. Okay.
Yeah.
So the Carrie Ann had a question. She asked, how far in advance do you get the listing paperwork? Now, Carrie, do you mean after the client signs it? Yeah.
Like before so saying you're listing on Thursday, how far in advance do you get the paperwork?
Well, I mean, my regular protocol is that immediately when the listing is signed, I should have paperwork the next day. So it should never be a surprise to me when that happens. And if I don't have it within 24 hours, I mean, I have repeat offenders and then people who follow my timeline with no problem. So, I mean, normally I remind 9 a.m. if I saw they got a listing last night that I need the paperwork to my people who kind of forget, which they appreciate it mostly. I mean, if I'm not on top of them, then sometimes, of course.
So by that time, they've already filled out all of the paperwork, the MLS data sheets and everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it depends on the timeline. I mean, we do have a bunch that kind of go that are speedy, but again, we do request 48 hours notice prior. When our photos are done, we need 48 hours after that for the listing to go live on the board, just to get back our photos and our virtual tour and everything like that, and get a proof out to the clients as well. So.
And Shannon, but now that we're like almost fully virtual, it's almost instant, right? Now it'll be when you get to your desk that you get that paperwork. When you say if they follow that system, yeah. So like Shannon mentioned, we went completely virtual. She created a backdrop for the client or for the agents, where it's a virtual world for them now.
Yeah,
all the stuff that she showed you today.
We totally switched to being virtual, which was 2021, but we did, of course, when we went into lockdown, like, I guess, middle of November last year. We kind of started it. I was working like half with the agent, so it's still new for us, but so far, like our last couple of listings, we've done fully virtually. And it's pretty great. I mean, like I said, they fill out the Google form regularly after the appointment. So when they have everything signed, they go back to their desk and they can kind of like fill out that form, because it is a lot to fill out with the client. Like, it is a lot of information. So they regularly take notes during their appointment and then they fill it out afterwards. But yeah, for me, it should all be submitted the next day. I have everything filled out. They have to be on top.
Okay, and then we have Aaron has asked, is your property info form for your agents the same as the feature sheets?
No, not the exact same. It's the property info form is like just basic information on the property. It's normally utilized prior to being on like live, like our agents who cold call around neighborhoods when we have an exclusive listing. If they don't know the bedrooms, bathroom, and square footage, like it would be kind of difficult to use it. So it's the information on the property and like age of the roof and windows and AC and all that information, just kind of on a basic form.
Okay, and then Jesse's asking if they're able to see the lockbox tracker that we use. No, and Aaron, sorry, Aaron, just to answer yours, no, the agents don't pick up the lockboxes themselves. So
no, they just drop them off and we pick them up. And no, I don't share the lockbox tracker with the agents, just mostly because I don't trust them touching anything, which is just a preference of mine.
Right. Sorry, Shan, I think Jesse's asking if she's able to see the lockbox tracker. Like if we can share the lockbox tracker. Yeah. And then Alyssa asked, what type of program do you use for your pre-listing listing magazine? It looks amazing. I'll fill in the website at the bottom here. You guys have mentioned, or we have talked about it quite a bit, flippingbook.com. So Shan, you find that tracker. I'll drop the link in here.
Yeah, it's just a basic tracker of the address, where the location is, if I've been informed or if I filled it out, the lockbox number, code, listing agent, and if kind of the status of where we are. And then, yes, I highlight whatever ones we're picking up that week, or if I'm pending on what we're doing with it. And then if any listings don't have lock boxes and we don't have a live date for them, I record which ones we don't have a property, like a lockbox on. So I remember in case we decide to go live the next day and it's super quick and speedy and we forget.
So your agents don't pick up the lock boxes?
No, they put the lock boxes on all of the listings and we pick them up a day after closing.
We, as in you and your admin staff?
Yeah, between the four of us. And if it's a property that's super, super far and it doesn't really work with any of our schedules, or we're all really, really slammed, we will ask our sign guy to pick it up.
And then question mark is asking, who provides all the additional upgrades and info for the listing that may not have a section on the MLS form? And do you have additional form for that? And more importantly, question mark, please let us know your real name.
Any information on the home is provided by the agent. The agent is sitting with the client in front of them, and that's all included on the Google form. They have to fill out all that information and submit it to me. If they don't know it in the moment, they can write unknown if they want to. Every field is mandatory on that Google form. They cannot hit submit unless something has been filled out, which they also love so much. But yeah, it's all given by the agent.
Shannon, when you guys say you're picking up the lockbox the day after close, are you releasing keys from the lockbox right now?
Regularly, the way that it's kind of working, the lawyer wants us to keep the key in the lockbox. So it is communicated with Montana and the lawyer, but that's the standard way that we're kind of doing it now.
And you're able to get that lockbox back? Like, I find the buyer just takes it sometimes.
No, well, Montana emails them to let them know that we're picking it up that day. Like, we've had torturous systems in place before where we've just been losing lockboxes left, right, and center, and they've been cut off and thrown out. Like, but to this day, it's been super, super great. Like, we've been doing it for like a year, and to no end, we pick it up the next business day. So if it's on a Friday, we will pick it up on Monday. But Montana lets the buyer agent know we're coming Monday, don't touch the lockbox. And we found that it's pretty great. Of course, we come into here and there, but it's honestly like 90% really great.
Okay, let me know what you guys are gonna do after you guys have to deal with Sentry lockboxes.
Sure, yeah. We don't have those in play yet, so
Right.
I'll let you know.
So any other questions for Shannon? Or anything specific that you guys are looking to take away from today around the listing steps, the listing procedures, anything like that? So many people with their cameras off. Hi, Paul. Everyone's good? Your listing systems are in check?
Sorry, Shannon, one more.
Go ahead, Erin.
Sorry. So kind of further to what Carrie Ann was trying to get at. So is there a timeline, like if an agent says to you, this is going live tomorrow, and you're like, no, we can't do that. Like, do you actually have like a mandatory time frame for photos and all that you try and get your agents to stick to?
Yeah, I 100% can say that has happened tons of times to me, but it's at the end of the day, it isn't necessarily my timeline. It's the timeline that we actually physically need for the client to have amazing service. And if we are promising this amazing service and then we're giving them this 24-hour turnaround of let's take these crappy pictures and let's not have a great description, that's just not in the client's best interest. So at the end of the day, I just say, is that in the client's best interest? Like, who's rushing this, the client or is it you, right? And let's do it right. Like, we have to follow our photographer's timeline of when they can get photos, and we need a virtual tour done, and that takes 48 hours to come back, and it can come back sooner, and I'll keep depending on it. But yeah, at the end of the day, they have to follow the timeline. And I've definitely had tons of pushback on it in the beginning before we've kind of established this. But you know, I've said then no problem, we can get the photos done and you can be responsible for the description. And you can be responsible for putting it live on yourself on the weekend if that's what you prefer. And I mean, 90% of the time, they'll follow my timeline because they don't want to do those things or they're not great at those things. And they trust me, right? So
Awesome.
that's how we've kind of managed it over time, but it takes a while to get there.
Yeah, for sure.
I can play the silent game for a really long time because I'm loving it. So it's up to you guys. Seriously, guys, we spend 90 minutes together once a month. Today, our focus, you know, Shannon went to a lot of trouble to show you guys a little bit about what we do behind the scenes at Knighton, and would love to hear what kind of brought you to the call today. What was it you wanted to take away? Did you get your questions answered? And or what are some things that you guys want to focus on in 2021 for your team that we can talk about today?
I'd love to hear other people's systems too. Like, I mean, that would be great what they feel or something that they feel is like a real bonus on their team or something that's been working really well.
I have a quick question about Asana. Because we use Trello for sort of like the same effect, but we're finding it's not entirely meeting our needs. Are your agents also on Asana, or is it just the admins?
We have just the admins.
Okay.
Yeah,
because I think our challenge that we're trying to figure out is like we go between like the admins are on Trello and then agent tasks we set up on Follow Up Boss, so that we don't have to like teach them a new system, but it's kind of annoying to have to like almost duplicate tasks in the two. So that was why I was wondering, but yeah, I guess it's just easier to keep them out of it.
Yeah, for me, especially because there's no like a read only, like they can just like touch too much, right? And it's like, no offense to them, but like that's just not their strong suit. So it's terrifying to have them have that much control.
So then how do they keep track, I guess, of their tasks? Like, do they have a checklist of some sort to make sure that they send you everything that they're supposed to send you before you kind of take over?
Yeah, I mean, mostly like they do know all of the forms. Like, I mean, especially because prior to us going virtual, I would prep all the paperwork for them. So all the paperwork I give them is what I expect back. And same with now, the template that they have to use has all the paperwork that is needed. And then they have to fill out the Google form. So those are both the two items that I can easily control. The reason I have them email me the paperwork instead of them saying, hey, grab it from DocuSign or something like that, it's also just a control issue, right? Just saying, you know, you have to let me know. I can't just assume when the paperwork is done, right? I need you to email it to me so I know that I'm starting to work on the file, right? And then I'll audit the paperwork, and if I have any issues with it, again, I'm a little more lenient with people who aren't repeat offenders. If I have an agent that's like really key on her paperwork and awesome regularly and she's missing something, I won't hold back actioning the file. I'll let her know I'm missing this, get it to me, and I'll start working on it, right? And I mean, I'm pretty ruthless. I'm constant with reminding them what I'm missing. I'll send them a list weekly on Mondays if I'm missing paperwork. And yeah, I'm nice about it, but I'm also gonna mean, but yeah.
Hey Shannon, it's Ron. The virtual listing that the agents take out, I'm assuming on a tablet. Are those tablets with data, or are they simply on the desktop and then they download when they get to Wi-Fi?
They regularly connect to like any, like they can ask the client for any, like it is data, like anything, the client for their Wi-Fi, or they can connect to their hotspot on their phone.
Okay. And if for some reason they have trouble connecting, can it just sit on the desktop until they reach a part, or do they need to connect to the internet to reach those? Like, are they Google Forms, or are they on the tablet itself?
They are on the tablet themselves, but for the paperwork, they would need to connect, but they will always have a paper copy of paperwork in case something did happen. They'll always have a backup of something like that, just in case.
Yep. Thanks.
No problem.
Can I ask who does your marketing stuff? Because your flip book looked really good. So I was wondering if it was like, do you have an in-house person or did you outsource that to get it made? Because it looks amazing.
I'm pretty sure Megan is on the call there. I'm not sure if she is there or not, but we did outsource, I think, designing those, right? Right, Val? Yeah, we did. So I think who was it? I can't remember. Was it something tomato or was that something
No,
else?
that was one of the companies, but we didn't do anything with that. Yeah, so the marketing itself was pre-designed by an outdoor company. I don't even know if it was, maybe it was Tiny or
Right, tomato.
something.
I actually, what was the other one? It was outsourced, or the original
Oh,
layout.
yes. Actually, it was, sorry, I don't know why it took us forever. It was a friend of Chris's who does marketing for the banks. He did it for us. That's right. So he created that for us. And then we just simply, as a PDF, and you simply upload it to Flipping Book.
Yeah.
It honestly, it's so easy, guys. And it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's really cool. And yeah, Megan does all of that for our team. She does the flipping book. And we upgraded to the second package of flipping book so we can have video incorporated into it. And it's actually really cool. I'm really impressed so far with flipping book and the way that it's been been working so far for the team. And yeah, it's pretty cool, especially just because you can have it customized to each agent on your team, and which is adding that video and stuff, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm definitely glad we went with Flipping Book for sure. It looks nice.
And it's the most satisfying thing if you have like a touch screen to literally flip it. I don't know why I'm obsessed with it, but I definitely am.
Even
So
takes the paper place as you flip, which is
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
it does the sound and everything. It's so cool.
Shannon really took the last few months and like took our paper system and the way we were doing things, which there was nothing wrong. Just when COVID hit, it was like I said, it was such an opportunity for everyone to go back and revisit their systems and see what can be touched, what can be revamped. And Shannon saw the need to go virtual, fully virtual. So we made the investment, and she spent, how long would you say, just collectively putting it together before it even launched?
Yeah, I mean, developing it was definitely like I had ideas, right? I mean, coming from an operational standpoint, I loved what I had implemented, right? And then I had to collab with the agents eventually because it was very operation standpoint forward. So I needed to sit with them, and we had to do mock appointments and outline how the appointment would look and do all that stuff with the agents to make sure that it kind of worked for them and how they can practice after doing it a certain way for so many years, right? It's a comfort level as well. So yeah, it was hard. I mean, all of my agents were on board, which was amazing. They were all super stoked and excited, and we did have a few first hard appointments, which like I loved the feedback, and yeah, it's we're constantly tweaking it. It's good. I mean, I have really great communication with my agents, so it's going good so far. I mean, it was definitely needed during 2020 when the agents didn't have anyone to help them do their appointments, or they didn't have access to a printer because they were working from home, and it was just like a mess. And they realized how much time it takes to actually prep appointments and how to be ahead. And I mean, like, I can't even tell you the gratitude afterwards when agents were like, oh my God, you do that for every appointment. Like, holy smokes. And like, we definitely could streamline this in a better way. So happy that we did it. Now it's just working through it. Woo.
And you mentioned, oh, sorry, Ellie.
No, go ahead.
I just had a quick question. So you mentioned once they sign everything, it comes to you on an Excel spreadsheet. It comes directly there.
Yes, when they fill out the Google form, it comes to an Excel spreadsheet. So all the information they filled out populates automatically.
Okay, and how do you organize that sheet for yourself?
I actually have like I have it into one sheet. I mean, it's super easy regularly what I do is when I get the sheet, I open it and I report all the information and pretty much put it in Asana. So I never like normally really need to look back at it when I'm like kind of actioning a listing. But I mean, when I'm super busy and I've got like 5 of them in one day or something like that, and I haven't been able to like fully action them, I have previous in the past had just another, like, because the Excel spreadsheet comes horizontal, and I just copy and paste it into a different spreadsheet that I've opened and put it vertical. with all of the questions, and it's kind of just easier to see. But I haven't needed to do that often, to be honest, because I regularly just transport it into Asana, and that's where I work from, out of there. Like, I would be fully lost in a different human if I didn't use Asana. It's like my saving grace.
Yeah, I definitely find it very useful. We use it too.
Yeah, it's the best.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
aside from the DocuSign paperwork, what else are you prepping for your agent's appointments?
So before, when we had paper files, we would just be prepping, like, we called it a big package. It would be like all of our marketing, with a geo, their business cards, and then like a file, which was all the paperwork, like customized and printed off for them, and then highlighted where the client was signing, and then printed with all of the CREA forms, which we did have 5 CREA forms that needed to be printed off, the calendar timeline, the SDI, pass the baton, showing instructions, and top 10 features on the property. And that's what was given to them, prepared to go for an appointment. So, and then they would add their own comps into that file. So now I just have to go into Geo, I copy and paste the address, see how many clients are on title, pick the applicable template, create the template, fill in, autofill what I can autofill in for them, and then save it. And that's all I have to do now. And then they pull their own Geo because they're not printing it, they're just keeping it up on their computer to go through with the client. They pull their own comps, and they utilize the paperwork and then fill out the Google form after the appointment.
So has your Google form replaced 4 of your 5 CREA forms? Because obviously not the calendar timeline, or has it?
It hasn't replaced the calendar timeline, but the calendar timeline is a PDF form now that's editable. So they can go through it on the any whatever device they're using with the client.
So they're sending you back the Google form, which automatically comes to your email when they submit it, and then their paperwork as an
Yeah.
email?
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. We're always so full of conversation. So Erin, how are you doing in your new team with your new role? How's everything going with you?
Going pretty well.
Yeah.
I'm finding it's a little bit interesting because I'm director of ops, but I'm also not entirely sure how much I should have my hands in our transaction coordinator's role. And I've tried to empower her to give back the file if it's not complete, but I find she's not doing that necessarily. And I find that she's, I mean, hard to say, especially working from home right now, but I try and get our team to respect our off time. And she tends to work a lot in her off time. And I'm trying to kind of, you know, empower her to say that that's not really what she should be doing, that, you know,
Yeah.
we have hours that we want to kind of respect, because especially working from home, you can kind of get blurred into this like always working type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to avoid that.
It's tough too, especially in the director of operations role. Not that any other role isn't just as tough, but in terms of like keeping those boundary lines, right? Because you are fully functioning as like taking over and supporting every single member on the team. And, you know, sometimes people need you after 5 o'clock, and it's just determining what a need really is and how it's used, right? I think you can get comfortable with people after a while to know that. Like, for instance, I had an agent call me at 5:30 on Monday night, and I answered it right away, because very rarely do they call me. And it's to the point where it's like, are you okay? I kid you not, if they call me after 5, my first question is something is wrong, because they have so much respect for the boundaries. And it'd be tough, Erin, especially if that's something that she's really used to doing before you joined, right? Like, they created that environment around. So I just say stick to your guns. If you feel strongly that that boundary needs to be created, and it'll make her feel better about her role too, just keep going towards it. It'll happen.
Yeah, and it's an interesting time. Like, we're out of the office right now. Like, I think one of our main focuses for 2021 is growth. We want to bring on some more agents.
Mhm.
Our office is kind of limiting that we don't really have the space for it, but we're also not really working from the office anymore. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's going to be an
Anyone
interesting.
else? Yeah, is anyone else feeling different this time around, like this lockdown? I know there's a few of us that are kind of new to the role, but is anyone else feeling locked down a little bit differently, a little bit heavier maybe? Isn't it weird? It's like a huge disconnect between your, like, especially for our team, like the girls and I, we try, and Ron, we try to stay connected once or twice a week just to touch base and like make sure like we're supporting one another. And, you know, outside of group text and what, like, how do you create that energy? How do you keep that momentum going? Right. For the first time in, I think, like 5 years, our entire team basically shut down over the holidays. And I think I was telling Kelly at the beginning of the call, like, we've never done that before. Like, we always like, we're here whenever you need us kind of thing. But our team legitimately shut down and spoke to each other just to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And we've never done that before. So it just goes to show, like, it was much needed, right? We needed to take a step away and kind
I
of,
finally got between Christmas and New Year's off.
geez, how did you do
She's
that?
in the office.
Oh, then stop talking. You're going to get your trouble. You're going to work overtime next year. But I
No,
think
it was just kind of like you know, it's just we're kind of a little bit slow now, and we're at a lull kind of, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay, we're
Is
in
anyone else
shutdown.
feeling
So sorry.
I said, is everyone feeling that slowness? Like, are we all kind of sharing that same?
I've literally had one phone call in the last 4 days.
Yeah. Well, that's why today's call, having Shannon show you guys listing, is because our hopes are that listings keep us busy, right? This system works well. Like, it has its hiccups, and it's usually agent related following the system, but Shannon does an incredible job at keeping everyone focused and on task. So really maybe take this time during, and I don't like saying it's slow, but to maybe revisit your listing system, maybe revisit your marketing, maybe revisit some of your checklists, maybe find a takeaway from today. If it's flippingbook.com, Shannon showed you, playing around with that, seeing what you guys can do.
You were part of my trying to figure out my ways on Tuesday.
Oh, I'm glad I helped you then.
Valerie and I were emailing back and forth on Tuesday because I spent most of Tuesday trying to figure out formulas in Google Sheets.
Okay, so I just need to be clear. I did not help her with formulas or anything like that. Let's be honest.
What?
Yeah, I don't want anyone in this group
Thank
to think that
God.
I did that. Ron, you better shut up.
But she did help me because she gave me examples. So and then I YouTubed it. Honestly, YouTube is the best thing
I know.
to go to because
All
that's
I do is
where,
Google.
yeah. So
Google and YouTube
I'm,
have the best videos for like learning how to do things.
yeah.
TikTok does too, but I don't know if they're work related or just fun. I learned how to mix a really good drink that gave you the smart, like it was like different levels of color. So that was good. It was alcoholic.
Was that for New Year's?
Or yesterday. No, I'm just kidding. It wasn't for yesterday.
No, right now, what are you talking about?
Yeah, right now, what are you talking about? It's vodka. We're homeschooling. But
Don't
no,
even.
seriously. What's that, Erin?
Don't even with the homeschooling. Oh my God.
How many of us are homeschooling right now? Raise your hand. Yeah, that's the whole thing right there. There's not a lot of us on this call, actually. Kelly, you have kids, don't you? You're just not homeschooling them. They're doing their own thing.
They're doing their own thing. They're old enough to do their own thing. So
Mine are
actually
too,
have
so
a
it's not that bad.
question for all of you guys. So I'm wondering, because we've changed a lot of our systems over the last few months. A big focus of me in client care for the end of last year and going into this year is just updating all our systems, getting everything virtual, really focusing on client experience, creating value for agents. And with that, we have changed a lot of things. And I'm wondering, what's your experience with, or rather, how do you get agents to trust the new system, and how do you get them engaged with the new system? And that could be applied to like action plans or social media or really anything you're moving forward as a team.
Mhm. Does anyone want to answer that?
I think a little. I mean, for anytime I've implemented something new, which has been often from the role that I had started in until the role that I'm now on the team. And the best thing that I found was to get them involved in it and then taking some of their ideas so they feel like it was their idea. Because then they're more into it, right? Like I normally, whenever I've sat down with my agents and have said, I feel the need for this, and this is what I think it's going to do for the team. What do you guys think? And regularly, I mean, of course, they're normally scared with some stuff because it's comfort level, the way that they've done it forever with a lot of real estate agents, right? Where we've pivoted and we've moved in such a different direction with real estate. And it's scary to think of the new stuff. So I mean, that's how I have normally found that the agents are cool with it. Is like tell them, look, I want your ideas, I want your input, I want you to be involved in this. It's not just me saying this is the system and this is what you're gonna have to do moving forward. Because regularly that's like their defense is up. I mean, I think anybody telling anybody what to do, you normally want to do the opposite. You're like, no, refuse, right? So normally it's kind of just, I think just communicating with them about it a little bit more would be helpful, even asking their opinion.
And when you ask for feedback, are you doing it more in like a team meeting setting or are you doing it one-on-one?
I like team meeting. I mean, I'm a big team person. I love working in a team. I thrive working in a team. But if you feel a team environment wouldn't work for you, one-on-one would be great too. I mean, obviously Chris is my team lead, so sometimes I'll run things by Chris prior to going to the other agents. So there's no gaining up feature if Chris didn't like it or something. So I would obviously go to Chris first. But other than that, I normally like to do it as a team.
I think for me, Kristen, I think it comes back to onboarding. When you're onboarding new agents, putting the expectations in place right from day one. So that way, when you are implementing things, it's not necessarily telling them what's going to happen. It's saying, here's the other added value to being part of our team. So when you're onboarding, saying, here are your commitments to the team, and do it every quarter. So that way, during the quarter, when new agents come on, you're onboarding them and you're reconfirming all of the commitments. So here on our team, we have commitments to 2 hours of lead gen, to openly using all of these systems that we put in place, our CRM. Our agents don't, it's non-negotiable on our team. And because we've onboarded the right people and went through a really great process, there's zero issues. So you have to have commitments in place and they just have to accept it. And I mean that kindly, because the minute you start dabbling in what do you want to do, how do you, then we've got open discussions, and I feel like it's a lot of talk and no action, no implementing, because we're caught up in making sure we're getting things. So for me, onboarding the right agents, you never have to question. If you've come on a team as an admin to a team where they're not fully committed to stuff, maybe you need to put a commitment in place and then have that team, just like Shannon said, go to the team and say, here's our commitments, guys. I've implemented this, this, and this moving forward. And then what happens if you don't utilize them? There's a breakdown in communication. Our clients won't be happy. This won't be done. This service won't be done. This won't be done. Like show them, I call it the negative future. Show them the negative future if they're not utilizing these things.
Val, do you guys have commitments as admins, or are you just setting your own goals?
We set our own goals. I mean, I think when you do commitments for us, we got our job description, right? That to me is a commitment right in itself. I commit to following through on every expectation the team has of us when we join. And then we have such an opportunity, we can always add to our job description. We keep recreating. If you ask any one of the girls, they've probably rewritten their job description a lot. It grows and we want them to grow. So we give them that ability to add to it. Or if something, here's the thing too, if something doesn't fit, Erin, and maybe this will be great for you and your transaction coordinator. If something doesn't fit, like let's say, for instance, actually, Shannon is doing a lot of things that I feel marketing should do, right? And she probably feels the same way. We've had these conversations, so I know it's not like little pieces like describing, listing, or whatever. I mean, the relationship her and Megan have, she can go to Megan and say, hey, Megan, I feel like this is more like on a marketing side of things. What are your thoughts? And if so, I'm going to give it to you, right? And so we might have to reevaluate all the time. But I feel like our commitments are our job description. We have, when we come onto the team, we're giving an offer letter. and we have commitments to them just as, you know, as a director of operations, we have commitments to our admin team just as they have commitments to us. Does that make any sense at all?
It
I have a
does.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, Carrie, go ahead.
This may be a little bit of a weird question, but when we have keys that we get sometimes from clients that we keep here at the office. Do you guys do that?
I have a whole drawer of keys.
Do you
I think-
do you keep them any specific way, or
I
look
put
at
them on a big
Valerie's
round
face?
Well, I put them on a big round keychain and I put them on my belt loop. I mean, I don't know. No, seriously, like I mean, the girls will, like, every time we have a key left in a lockbox, I just wrap the address and tape around it and sit it in my desk. So that way, if someone wants it, we haven't had that happen in a long time, though. I wouldn't say.
Yeah, what we do regularly now is if there's a key in the lockbox, we'll bring it back to the office with us, and then we'll message the buyer agent and say, you have 30 days to pick up the key, and if you don't, we're throwing it out.
I
Oh,
love that. We
okay.
actually, we
Yeah.
had somebody complain that we took keys out of a lockbox. And I'm
Mhm.
like, it's been there for 3 days after closing.
Yeah.
I don't, they're like, well, those are our only keys.
So, but if you
Yeah.
have keys that you have to attend a showing and you're keeping the keys, do you keep them any specific place, or do you just keep them in your drawer?
I think I'm confusing the question. So, are you going on showings with the keys?
So yeah, we have a listing that we have. We have to be at the showings and they don't have a lockbox. They don't have anything because they don't. It's a big listing, right?
Yeah.
So we've had a couple of those, but we literally just put them in envelopes and put them in a box. So is that? Does
I would
anyone
ask
have any
anyone else on this.
strategic ways of?
You have there's also an option when I worked at the brokerage. We had like a key box that was like locked by a main administrator, and
Okay.
that would be the best way to probably do that. There's like a tag on the inside of the locked box that connects to the key tag with what
Okay, yeah.
address it is and stuff. We have a few keys that like I have them personally in my drawer if I was the only one using them and stuff, but we normally don't have that issue, but at the brokerage we had a ton like that, and I used a key box for it.
So
And
And even Jesse, do you have that? Like even right now with MRN, do you have a system in place?
We don't really have that problem. I've never been asked to keep keys or pick up keys, or we've never. No, but I do second what Shannon said. The brokerage, whenever somebody would come in, like let's say you're holding keys for a showing or you have to hold keys somewhere other than a lockbox, the brokerage does have a locked box behind their desk that can hold keys. And then the agent would just go to the front desk, say which property they're going to, then they would basically sign out the keys and then bring the keys back to the brokerage.
Can I ask a director of ops question? I don't know how many of us there are here, but do any of you have like profit share in your contracts or anything like that? Anything other than just like a basic salary? Yeah.
Yeah. I can share mine with you if you want after.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
And any other incentives for the rest of the team of admins?
Yeah, definitely. I can share what we do. I mean, what we do is for incentive bonus, we pay out twice a year to our ops team. That's what we do. We do 2 bonuses a year, and we know that it's going to happen in June and November. So it's in their contract, so that way they're well aware when it. And you know what? To be honest, from my point of view, from a director of ops, it has nothing to do with making sure I pay them. It is everything to do with making sure the team commits to paying them. It's in a contract. They signed, I signed. There is no way I will not let that happen. So that's more important to me. More important is that they get their incentive and we stay accountable to paying that out.
And is that incentive based on goals they create, like their 411s?
No, it should be. It will be. Moving forward, we're going to try to tailor our incentives to be more specific to the role and how they, perform in their role. Right now, it's been very much all across the board exactly the same. Just because we've always done that since the very beginning, but we've grown so much, they deserve for that incentive to change as we grow, if that makes any sense at all.
Mhm.
So are you working on that right now?
I'm going to be. So the guys are trying to figure out their incorporation and all of that.
Mhm.
And they want to obviously, work us in as employees as opposed to independent contractors, which is
Mhm.
something that honestly I kind of require. But because I was new to the team, I kind of said, yeah, I'll do the independent contractor thing for my probation period.
Yep.
But after that, definitely an employee. So I'm trying to figure out what those contracts should look like. In a way that makes sense, but a way that also motivates us.
Yeah. So I know that a few years back, a director of operations, basically what it would look like for them, their incentive bonus would be $100 for every deal done. So let's say our team did 250. It'd be $100 for that 250. And that was how, I don't know if anyone's doing that or if it's changed or growing, but that was definitely the biggest thing that I remember when I was onboarding for an incentive for a director of operations. And I think, more importantly, I think that when we start to having roles such as like transaction coordinator, marketing, listing, not to say that everyone deserves an incentive bonus, but the roles are so different. Like in an ideal world for me, the marketing, I believe, should be getting paid incentive based on the leads they bring in through the marketing, whether it be social media, mail outs, whatever it is. Whatever lead is generated based on the items that they've created in the marketing world, I believe they should have their incentive bonus tailored to that, because it'll encourage them to work twice as hard to produce top-notch marketing and stay on top of leads that are falling through social media and marketing. And then you take transactions. I think for every actually transaction closed, or listings, for every actually listing that's listed.
I mean, it's a little bit difficult, right? Because in the agent's mind, that would have happened with or without you, which isn't fair. But I also kind of understand that perspective a little bit, right? Like they are the ones who are working with the clients, the transaction coordinators just doing paperwork, although I don't like to say that, but that's kind of the mentality.
So here's the thing, I challenge you on that when an agent has that sort of mentality, I would be having a deeper conversation with them, because not one single agent on our team would say, well, it's all really because of me. Our team, our administrative team, our ops team, my God, work harder than, I know it sounds like I'm just saying that because we're all on the call, but no, like they work so hard. And I just feel that the agents know that, and they know that if it wasn't for Montana getting that paperwork to the lawyers and the mortgage brokers, that they would never have been able to do that themselves.
I agree with you, Valerie. I agree with you, because it's huge that like even my agents come over to me all the time. Like I got a Christmas card saying superstar, because they know how hard I work for them, right? So
yeah.
But and I get every transaction, whether it be listing or buying, I get a bonus regardless of that. So on at closing. So
change their mindset, Erin. Right? They might be a little bit. Here's the thing. I mean, if you look at our world 5 years ago, we weren't as empowered as we are now. We have never really been able to step out and be who we all are. We felt like it's a job and we're set to do this, right? And that was in our heads. And when we're hired, we're here to just do whatever in the job description. But in the reality, we've come so far. Like I say 5 years just because it's how long I've been here. It might be longer. So I say, just prove to them, like show them, like actually, I don't want you to show your worth, because they hired you. They know you're worth it. Like they hired you so that they can elevate their business. The general rule of thumb is every time you bring an administrator on, your business should double. And so don't tell me that's because of their actions alone, right?
Right, for sure.
Yeah. You're just in a new environment. We're working with all men. Not that there's anything wrong with that, Ron. I forgot you were here, buddy. So yeah, that's it, guys. Anything else? You guys got Shannon for 20 more minutes. Pick her brain.
I have a quick question, guys. I was just wondering about Command. Is anyone using that system right now? I know it's new. And I know that there's a way to put, I know Asana looks great. I've never actually checked it out. So now I'm kind of curious. But I know that in Command, there's a way to put in your checklist in there as well, as you move your opportunities over to different phases. Is anyone using that?
So we were using that. So there's two interesting things about that in Command. The first one is, yeah, you can do the checklist, but there's also the option to notify your clients when items are completed on your checklist.
Mhm.
I'm highly proficient in Command if anybody has questions. I like the client facing part of it, but you have to write those tasks in a way that makes sense to your client. You know, you can't use abbreviations and things like that. They're not going to understand that. I find I don't love the tasks in Command just because it doesn't make it easy to read the full task. So you kind of have to hover over it to see what the full task is. And our transaction coordinator prefers right now to do that on paper, and that's working for her. So I'm not gonna tell her otherwise necessarily. But it is I thought it's a fantastic idea, and if they can make it function a little better, look a little better, then I'd be for sure like 100% into it. But right now it just doesn't quite work the way that we would prefer. So we aren't using it that way. But you definitely can, and I have done it, and I have set up those checklists, and I have moved the opportunities all the way through, and it is a great way to kind of keep the whole team informed, but honestly the agents aren't looking at it either, so it just works better for us on paper right now.
Okay.
Do you know
I'm
if
just
you're
trying to find something for our team, like, you know, that's online, kind of like the quick glance that Shannon was doing, where people like Valerie can get on and just kind of take a quick look and see where everything's at. So Asana looked great, and I'm thinking we were going to move towards Command with those tasks, thinking that that was something, because we want to use Command fully, and try to keep everything in one spot. But it's not complete yet. It's almost like it's not fully ready, which is really frustrating.
Yeah, definitely Asana, especially because I believe in Asana you can also still assign stuff to different people. Asana makes more sense right now for that, in my opinion.
Erin,
Yeah.
for Command as well, do you know if you can look at, like, you know, the way they were showing us on Asana, like all the tasks for every single step laid out? Can you do it like that on Command? Because as far as I could see, I couldn't. I could only see the steps, and I had to check the next stage. And then it's like, if I moved to the next stage, but I didn't have something finished in the other stage, like where does that task go? That's one of the reasons why I haven't done it.
Yeah, as far as I know, you can only see the tasks for the stages you're in, which is a little bit weird as well, because yeah, you can definitely move an opportunity to the next stage without finishing all your tasks. But I don't believe that they sit as undone tasks unless they sit in just the opportunity task section of your Command. But even that's a little bit messy, and I don't know if you guys are running Command on your Rainmakers profile or if you're using an admin profile, but that's a whole other can of worms, honestly.
Should we do a call around Command, do you think, Erin?
Yes, please.
Deb, coming in hard there at the end. Okay.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out Command for the first time, and I don't love it, but I'm trying to make it as user-friendly as possible. But I'm using the agent's profile. Does the admin profile give you other
not yet,
like access, Erin, or like different features?
So not
okay. Everything with Command is not yet.
So I was talking to Robert Chatterton this morning. He's the Command guy for Edge, and he had said that they're actually going to create an admin profile that'll basically mirror the Rainmakers and give you all the same privileges, with the exception of hard deleting contacts. So that'll be nice, because I found that working in an admin profile, I can't do everything that I want to do, especially considering when you're looking at smart plans and Twilio and things like that, it gets a little more complicated. Anybody who is running smart plans for a team, just keep in mind that if your Twilio texts are coming from the assignee, each agent needs to have Twilio set up for that to work.
Okay, so maybe in March, what we'll do is a Command. Then maybe we can have Erin and Ryan, the tech guy from
Ryan Turnbull, for sure. He's awesome.
I just can't remember the name of our brokerage there for a second. Maybe he can jump on, and you and him can kind of support you on the back end of stuff, and then you can kind of tell everybody like what's working best for you and all the best practices. It seems like everyone has a desire to learn more about it. So yeah. I was just going to say something I completely forgot for Shannon Bodner. Oh, for Asana. One of the things about it that I love about Asana is I actually don't utilize it as much as the other girls do. I simply get the notifications when I have to pick a lockbox up, and it's like the best thing ever. So they'll like set it, the task up. I don't even know if this is how it's going to sound. So correct me if I'm wrong, girls. They set the task up in Asana. It just emails me that I have to pick up this lockbox. I let them know it's done. They complete that. I should be completing that task. Should I though? Should I be logging into Asana and completing it? I just actually realized that right now.
You can click it in the email that you've done it, even if like you can even not log in, but
okay. Because I always just message and then I see it's been actioned. I'm like, this is amazing.
Asana will email someone to do something to what is
yeah when I assign something, so or if Montana assigns something, so let's say that the property has sold firm, and I'm aware of that because I work with listings, and Montana's aware of that because she works with the deals, but Megan isn't aware of that because she doesn't really work within the listings. So Montana can go to that to that checklist saying sold post, and she can click Megan and then click what day she wants it done, and then it automatically emails Megan and tells her to do it.
It's like a pass the baton for Asana. It's incredible. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really great. It's like, you know, even like on a closing date, I'll like email our photographer and tell her to delete the iGuide or Matterport scan, whichever like virtual tour we used. And like a lot of the time Montana will like click me to do it on that day because like I'm not as active in the listing at that point. And no, it's really awesome because you can assign whoever needs to do something on the task, the date, and it emails them, which is really cool.
Yeah, like that's, if ever anyone asks for checklists, all of Shannon's checklists are in Asana. Like it's just a one-stop place for her to get started on the process. And it goes, like she said, right straight through to like Megan, the minute the property sold, marketing knows now. Yeah.
I remember distinctively one time when I had started doing listings on the team and I had 25 exclusive listings, and I woke up with night terrors probably 5 times a night thinking that I had forgotten to do stuff. And I had known at that point of my life that a paper checklist just didn't absolutely work. And I found Asana, and it's been the saving grace of my entire life. It's so easy to manage.
I just have to say one thing, Shannon, how many listings did you action in 2020?
I don't, well, from our team advance, our last time, I was over, I think 130, I think. That had gone on to the board.
Don't worry about that. So we have done over 200. Yeah. Like 200. So don't be modest here, my dear.
Well, not all of them on the board, but yeah, I touched those many files.
Over 200 listings by herself. Like when I say by herself, I mean, obviously Megan and Montana were there every step of the way too, but she took the ball, got it started. Like that's huge. Like just huge. And it like all right, I'm going to stop now. And just basically using the systems that she shared with you guys today. Like you guys can do it. You guys can put these together no matter what level you're at. Obviously, I mean, Shannon's at a really high level with our listings. We need to get to a high level like fast because our team works really fast. So that's what I always say, like whatever system you have, don't build it for the now, build it for the future, right? How
many agents do you guys have on your team?
Oh my gosh, now we just onboarded 4 new agents today. So I think we're at 14 agents now. Yeah. So here's one of the best parts about it. We've now created our hub. So for a long time, we've been such a close knit group, and we've had our highs and lows. Like we've had a high agent count and a low agent count, but I think we've found like our core people. And one of the things about onboarding these new people, it's not that they'll be any different than us, but we've just proved that we've created this little hub, like our administrative team, our impact sales, and then we have our agents groups. Like we're creating something in 2021 that I'm just like super proud of because I mean, we couldn't do it without all the stuff that we put in place all these years and built out. So, I mean, I say that now, but these 4 new agents are going to be new, and we all know how time consuming it is working with new agents at time, but it's also very rewarding to watch your systems play out and people take ownership over that. So yeah.
Now, what does your 2-hour commitment lead gen look like right now for your team?
Oh, I honestly, before it was your standard 9 to 11, Monday to Friday, Mojo, whatever that looks like. So Chris and I actually had to come to terms with, we have rookie agents on our team, we have veteran agents on our team. Not always are we all going to be lead genning at the same type of business. So the older the agents that have been like not the older, the what do you call them? Veteran agents, that's it. The veteran agents on our team, they're more in their follow-ups and they're more building a business on repeat and referral, to be quite honest. Our newer agents are to be committing 2 hours a day to lead gen, 20 contacts a day. And on Tuesday, we're starting Mojo training with them. So we're going to go right back to the basics this year. We said no more dabbling with all these like door knocking and social media, right back to the basics. Our database is sitting at about 14,000 people right now. It got so big because of Mojo and the 9 to 10 or 9 to 11 lead gen we were doing Monday to Fridays. That's how we built our foundation. So we're going back. Our new agents are onboarding and they're strictly going to do 9 to 11 Monday to Friday lead gen.
So they're entirely in charge of their 20 contacts a day. That's not
absolutely.
Like the team is running ads and leads are coming in and they can count those.
We don't give them leads until after 90 days. So for the first 90 days, so what it typically looks like for the first 3 days is them taking all the contacts in their phone, on their social media, and importing it into the system. Only the ones that they are truly going to be transacting with, because we want to start a clean database right from the very beginning. And then they'll go through that and work those people, introduce themselves to their new job, what they're doing, throw themselves out there on social media. They'll run their own ads if they want. They'll do their cold call. We'll give them the tools and the foundations to get things started, but we don't even turn them on to leads until after 90 days. So, but one of the benefits to that is through our CRM that we have, we can easily set them up to their own web domain. So valerie.southernontariolisting.com, we'll give them that. They can promote that all they want, and they could use that as a lead gen tool because they put it out into the community. If anyone clicks on it, we capture data from it that way too. It's a pay per click for them, but we're willing to do that for them during their 90 days too, to help them build the database. But we really want them to organically build with just using us for simply like the support behind it.
So I'm guessing now your agents are door knocking right now. Are they focused on mostly online stuff and cold calling?
Yeah, you know what? We actually cut out cold calling for a little bit. We were doing value calls, we called them, to our database during COVID. Obviously, I think we talked about it many times. You can't really cold call people in like a pandemic. You can, but you can't. So we kind of put that aside. It wasn't, when we looked at our stats, it really wasn't our top lead source anyway, right? So when they were cold calling, it really wasn't, the turnover wasn't really there. So one, that came down to maybe we weren't scripting properly, maybe we weren't being comfortable, and we just weren't good at it, right?
So what's
those
your top lead source right now?
What's that, sorry?
What is your top lead source right now?
Sadly, last year, one of our top lead sources was open houses. Believe it or not, it's always our top 3. And then our referral and Chris's sphere is number 1. And then, does anyone remember what the third one was? I think it was door knocking.
Past client.
Past client. Well, yeah, Chris's sphere and yeah.
Yeah, ours was massively on referral base in 2020 and sphere big time.
But does anyone know when you think of your repeat referral business, does anyone know what percentage you should be sitting under for that? 60% of your business should be your repeat referral. If you are running a business of 70, 80, 90% repeat referral, good for you guys, that's great. Doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It just means you're not reinvesting in your business, into finding new business. It means that you're comfortable where you are. Think of all the missed opportunity from actually adding in new business, going out and actually sourcing out new clients. So it's great to have a repeat referral business and to have a huge past client database. We do really well with it. And we have individual agents on our team who really only have that working for them right now. And there's nothing wrong with that. But as a team, we need to reinvest in new business. So always watch that, guys, when you're looking at your lead sources. Always look at what your top lead sources are. Maybe you visit them quarterly, maybe you just visit them yearly. But always be aware for your agents. What's their top lead sources, and what are you going to do to keep that ball moving forward for them? Right? Be 10 steps ahead of that lead, like that business.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm a new admin and I work with one agent, and I'm building all these lists that we went through today, like the listing lists, checklists, and everything like that. I'm kind of building all that from scratch. He's been doing this himself always, right? So there are steps where I feel like he does it, so I don't know what the step is. Like, I'm finding that, it's hard for me to build these checklists, and I see that you made a Google form. Like, I want to be able to do all this and do it effectively, but I'm finding that he's going ahead and doing it. I work from 9 to 3 virtually, and I want to be able to do my job efficiently and effectively and have him give everything to me that I need. But instead he's like, well, I have it anyway, so I might as well just do it. So I'm finding it challenging. I just need some advice.
Go ahead, Erin. Yeah.
So my first point on that is you don't need to do anything from scratch. Honestly, there's enough people here, and our KW culture is so amazing that if you ask anybody for help, like, I'll send you my checklist if you want to see them, if it helps. Honestly.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, that'd be great.
Anyone like,
thank you,
yeah.
guys.
Like,
Thank you. I'm finding it so overwhelming, because I'm like, how like, I'm so new to real estate too, right?
So I just want to, can I promote mine too? I'm having an admin mastermind.
Oh, here we go.
Next
Just kidding,
Friday. Next Friday on the 15th from 11:30 to 12:30, 1 o'clock. If anyone wants to join, it's just going to be kind of it's not as good as these ones, trust me.
Oh, they're just as good. I was there.
Because I'm honestly just starting out, and I've been kind of appointed the one to do it for our office. So suddenly. So if anyone wants to join us next Friday as well. Sorry, just wanted to kind of put a plug in there.
Well, here we go. God, this is our platform, Carrie. No, Carrie, send us the link and we can send it out in an email.
Okay, will do.
Yeah, and everyone can jump on. What is your topic about?
I was gonna do listing paperwork, actually. Like, just doing like the broker loading and just going through broker loading, and yeah.
That's a good
because
start.
I know there is a lot of new admins that have come in the last month, that are 2 to 3 months, that are kind of just got thrown into the role and not trained properly, which I was too, so I know what it's like. But and I would love for ideas for the rest of the year too, just because I got thrown into the role of heading it up. So
And just to kind of go back to Sam for a minute too. And Sam, it's hard as a new admin for them to let go. Like, when I first joined Chris, he had systems in place. Like, there was nothing wrong with them. I just took what he did and I just kind of built out, and then we had the next hire come in and they did the same thing too. So, I mean, you can get all the checklists in the world, but you can't have your checklist in his last checklist, and he can't be doing his checklist and you're doing your checklist, right? Like, you guys are going to have a conversation and just say, like, this is my job. This is what you hired me to do, and I want to do it. And just trust me in it. Give me an opportunity to show you I can do it. Right?
What I would suggest, Samantha, because I went through the exact same thing. When I came into my role was like one job, and then I had started another job and kind of merged them together. And the best thing that I did was sat down with all of the admins, all of the agents that were connected to me, so all listing agents. And I sat down, and from literally them handing me the file, we went through every single process.
Okay.
The entire phase of the listing. And they tell me what they did, and I would say, it's actually not your job. That's my job. And I'm going to take that from you. And again, just reminding them why. My biggest pet peeve is if one of the agents do my job. It screws me up. it's not done right.
Mhm.
I'm in a mess about what happened, or we double do it and we look like, A, we're not saving any time, or into the client, we look like we don't know what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
So I would sit down with your team and whoever you're working with and
Mhm.
say, let's roll out a fake listing from this step all the way to this step. And
Yeah.
let's record it, because one thing I think is going to help them realize that exactly that. You're there to do it from 9 to 3.
Yeah.
That's your job, right? And
Yeah.
they shouldn't take it from you.
Yeah.
Or then they can take your job back, right? So
Yeah. I think he's just having a really hard time. You know, there are times where I say, no, 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 let me do that. And he's like, no, 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 I'll just do it. And I'm like, no.
It's transition. It's transition and trust. Right? He's got, it's not a lack of trust. It's just getting to know you and getting you to, like at his trust level. That's all. Yeah.
Okay.
And he'll get there. Yeah, here's the thing. I mean, and Shannon can even vouch for this. Like, God, she said it was her pet peeve that they jump in and do her job. They still try to. Like it'll always be a thing.
Mhm.
But everyone
Do you
gets
guys-
excited.
Sorry, do you guys have an example of a job description for an operations admin?
Yeah,
Do
we
you
can
think
send
that I
something
could
over to you.
That would be that would be really helpful. And would I be able to also see the Google form, or is that too much to ask? The one that the agents fill out and then it goes into a spreadsheet?
Yeah,
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. Val.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, I think it's your Google listing one, right?
Yeah. I can send you some screenshots of it, or if you want, I can send it to you and like as if you were filling it out. Like
Yeah, either way, I would love to create something like that because that would be so helpful for me to have all the information. I tried to come up with a different system, but it's not being used. So that looks good.
For sure. Yeah, I can send it to you.
And once you sign the bottom of that form, Sam, you've actually listed your house with us. So
okay.
Yeah.
Side note, everything of yours is now mine. And
Yeah. Great. Perfect. Good to know. My agent will be very happy.
That's how we get our listings. We just bully people.
Just tricking. No big
Could
deal.
you imagine though if that was the environment, just bully people into listings? I mean, there might be people who do that. I don't know. But all right, guys, it's 3:00. So thank you so much, Shannon, for today. I really, honestly, it was so good to sit back and get to hear others, honestly. So Shannon and I were talking, and one of the things Shannon wanted from today and from the year as well is, as much as we jump on here and we always share our insight and the things that our team does, we want to hear from you guys because this is a big learning year for us. Everyone on our team, we want to start partnering up with people and learning how other people are doing things so we can elevate our business. So that's why I think it's really important each week that we highlight somebody from, it doesn't matter if you're not from our market center, you could be from any market center. I feel strongly building this community out and having people jump on monthly or each month, highlighting something that they're really excelling in. And so next month we're going to have Jesse in Montana. Oh, hey, Tammy, thanks for showing up at 3:01. So next month, what we're going to do is we're going to have Jesse and Montana jump on and talk to you guys about the transaction process, like the paperwork on the back end, or I'll let you guys do that. You just tell me a title so I can set it out in an email for you guys. What I'll do is I'll create the platform for everyone monthly. I'll create the Zoom link. I'll create the email blast. I will do all of that. I just need people to participate monthly. I think in March, it's safe to say we'll do a command. And we could partner up with Ryan from the main office and have Ryan join us with Aaron and have him and Aaron kind of show you guys how you can use command at an agent level, team level, admin level, whatever it is we can do, because I think there's some goodness in it. And we all should probably have some sort of knowledge around it. So that way, when it does actively come in to Canada, I know we keep saying when it builds up and comes to Canada, but it's here. But when it becomes something big enough for all of us, then we all have that upper hand in it. So I'll send an email out. I'd sign up, guys, for a month. If you feel comfortable in April taking over and hosting one, I will provide everything for you guys. I'll provide the platform. You just have to show up with your presentation for everybody, okay? And more importantly, suggestions on what we want to see. These aren't going anywhere. Let's just make 2021 all about learning and education. So if there's something, a specific topic you guys want to talk about, let us know, okay?
Awesome. Thank you, Val.
You're welcome, guys. Have a
so
great weekend.
Thanks, Val. Good job, Shannon.
Hey.
Yeah, Shannon.
Yay, love it.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Tammy, where have you been? So these screens here, the Carrie, Kayla, and Megan, they've walked away from their monitors, obviously. Right?
Yeah, I was getting our IT work because we're
You're sitting on the floor.
I'm ironing something on the floor,
Oh my goodness.
but I'm listening. I've got my headphones in.
Well, she came in and she started in question mark, question mark, question mark. So I'm going through the top screen. I'm like, who's the question marks? I don't know. And then I'm like, okay, so Shannon, you have a question, or you have a question from question mark, question mark, question mark.
I forgot to change my name. It was like a surprise party. So they're like, okay, when you log on, put question marks in your thing. So the birthday girl doesn't know who's here. And then we all turned our cameras on at the same time. And then I guess I just never changed my screen name.
very
Kind of
funny.
a cool idea.
Very funny.
It is saved though, so I will send it over to you